Welcome back to another episode from the survival series. Today I want to do two things. To build an ice farm, because this one behind me doesn't necessarily work as well because it's a lot of manual work that I need to do, and once it fills up it doesn't produce anymore, so I'm kind of wasting a lot of ice. In case you're wondering, I built this on stream a while back and it's gotten me a good bit of ice, but like I said, it's kind of lacking because there's no automation and it kind of stops whenever I'm not in the area. So what I want to do is to build a semi-automatic farm which kind of pushes all the ice in a really huge cube, and then I'll just be able to mine the whole thing whenever I need to. And something that I remembered rather recently is that ender pearls can actually load chunks now if they're in a stasis chamber. And I tested this over here, and this area behind me that I just broke, it's actually been loaded by this ender pearl. So I just logged back in, so I had to disable it because it won't work anymore if you log out. But basically, I want to build a farm in only one chunk if I can, and then add an ender pearl stasis chamber under it or above or next or whatever it may be, which means that that farm will work as long as I'm in the world. So I'm not going to have to bother being near it, because I do want to work on a few different projects as well, and I don't want to AFK next to it. So that's going to allow me to actually get a bit more ice, and I think I'm going to be adding a few more stasis chambers around the world the more farms I build, because they seem to be pretty darn good. I'm even considering to add one at the mob farm just to have some passive drops, and maybe one near the iron farm. I feel like the iron farm specifically would be really good. I wish I would be able to add some in the nether, but unfortunately there's no water there, and I think I should be able to do that with a chunk loader, but I haven't really played with those, so I'm gonna leave those for a later time in the series. For the moment, I think all the farms that I'm gonna do in the nether, I'm just gonna build them in such a way that they're gonna be manual. So since I already kind of dug a bit over here and this kind of looks bad, I do want to add a building on top of this once I'm kind of finished with the ice farm. So obviously I won't be able to add anything on top of this or else ice won't form. So I'm gonna have to design some kind of thing where it's just encased but the top is completely free. So I decided that I want to do the semi-automatic farm somewhere in this area. I'm gonna have to check the chunks to see if it actually would fit. I do have a design that I'm kind of working to make a tutorial on. If you guys are interested, do just let me know. So I think I'm gonna try to see if it fits in a chunk, put an ender pearl underneath or in a corner or somewhere. As long as it's in that chunk, the pearl will just load the farm, and that should do me very well. But before I start building, I need to gather some resources. I need a lot of pistons, some target blocks, a couple of repeaters and observers, and a few other redstone components. So I'm just gonna gather those and then we can start building. And for the target blocks, I actually will manage to finally use some of the wheat that I've been gathering from my farm. It sure is nice to come down here and see that almost all the copper is now fully oxidized. There's only a couple of blocks that are kind of still working on it, but I'm really happy to see that it's finally fully done. I remember when everything was actually that brown color, and now to see it all transform looks really, really nice. So let's take a look over here. We definitely have plenty of wheat. Oh, there's 3 chests here. So yeah, we definitely have plenty to do all those target blocks that we need. And also there's just something about walking on the copper blocks. I only need 18 target blocks, and that's what I crafted. I have 19 because there was one extra one in my shulker box, but I always like to have some extra in the shulker box itself. So now I can just drop this wheat back into the storage system, and then let's start building. And with this last piece of redstone, the whole farm is complete. It should trigger any second now. There's already one piece of ice that formed over here, so it does work. Let's just wait for this to trigger and see if it actually pushes both of those through. Like I said, it's not going to be the fastest, but when it snows, I think ice is actually forming faster than normal. So here we go, that pushed. This should actually push further down now. I will go sleep and then we will be right back. So it does look like the farm is working. As you can see, one piece of ice actually got pushed all the way down. So the way it's going to work is going to push this all the way down, and then it's going to get to the next row, and so on, so on. So the only thing that I have left to do is to actually build some kind of collection area here that is going to be right underneath this. It's going to be just some water going one way or the other. That's going to collect all the ice that's dropping down, just so I don't have to bother to actually run around it every time I break it. Oh, and also I need to put down the ender pearl to make this work even when I'm not around. And you might have seen the ghast behind me. I tried to build with the ghast and unfortunately it did not work. It feels clunky, it doesn't feel natural, it moves weird. By the time I managed to place one row of those pistons, I actually just pillared up and I finished the whole farm. So at the moment, I don't feel like it's worth using the ghast to build up in the air. So hopefully they're gonna add something new in the future that maybe is gonna make it a bit more viable and easier to use. And the whole farm is now done. The only thing left is to figure out where exactly do these chunks meet. And it looks like it is right here. So I'm gonna dig down like this. Gonna have to make 2 bubble columns, so I'm gonna have to go and find some soul sand, get some water in it, throw 2 ender pearls, 1 in each chunk, because I didn't manage, no matter what I did, to build it in the same chunk. So I'm gonna have to split it in 2 of them, because no matter what I tried, I couldn't actually fit it in 1 chunk alone. And this is what it's going to be. So I'm just gonna have to throw 2 pearls, 1 here, 1 there, and that's gonna keep the farm loaded. And it actually is a bit faster than it was on my test world, to be completely honest, because it's making ice rather fast right now. So as long as I have those pearls there and I have this really huge farm next to it, I think I'm gonna be fine for ice, and I always will be able to actually multiply this farm because it is extendable. That's kind of the beauty of it. I can basically use the same clock and I can just go that way. I probably should have faced it the other way around so I can go that direction and not towards the village, but I don't think I'm going to be doing more there 4 or 5, so this area should be plenty to just build this. It doesn't look like I have any soul sand around my boxes or my ender chest, so I'm gonna have to go back to base. And I think in my starter house I still have a few pieces of soul sand there. I'm gonna go grab those. Looks like we do have a thunderstorm, so I'm gonna have to sleep that off as well. Even though everything that I built so far, it is lightning proof, because I have lightning rods where they have to be to stop all the lightning around my builds. And that's what I'm going to try to do around the world. Every time I build something, I'm gonna build a shrine next to it, or rather in the range of it, so all my builds are fully protected. So let's check this chest. Yeah, 2 soul sand over here. Gonna fly back, get the bubble column sorted, and we should have a fully functional farm. So while I do other things, I'll be able to see if the ender pearl trick actually works, because going back to number 2, because I never actually mentioned it at the start of the video, the number 2 thing that I want to finish in the episode is to actually put ice in my nether tunnel. So for that, I'm actually gonna have to do a lot of packed ice, and that's why I need all these farms, because using normal ice, it's not necessarily a thing that I can do because it will melt. So I'm gonna have to use packed ice for the time being, and then once I manage to gather a lot more ice and I'm gonna expand this farm further down and it's gonna generate much more, then I'll probably be using blue ice because that's even faster. And when I say faster, I mean for boats. Alright, so I have a 3 deep hole over here. I'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That should give me plenty. I'm gonna be using ice because it's easier to make water. And also, this is another thing why the ice is such a good thing to have, because you can use the ice to make water and you don't have to carry buckets everywhere. So I'm going to do this. That should create all the water sources that I need. Going to do that. Then I'm gonna break these 2. I'm gonna be placing down the soul sand, and that should kick me up straight away. So now all I have to do is test if the ender pearl thing works, which by the looks of it, it does. I thought that 6 deep, it might not be enough, but it does look like it is. So now all I have to do is leave the area, do other things, and I'll be back later on to see if farm is actually working. One last double check just to see that everything is fine. So I have 1 pearl there, 1 pearl here, and then this chunk pretty much stops right at the edge of the farm. So everything should be loading and the farm should be fully functional. So because my next thing that I want to do is actually going to be in the nether, I don't have enough ice to go start the path. So I'm going to be going AFK for like 5-10 minutes over at my house, see if the farm is actually going to work, and if it does, then I'll be able to do a few other things around here and finally go place the ice to have a proper boat ice tunnel in the nether. And actually, to not just AFK, I will go and repair my tools because some of them are kind of halfway and I'm definitely gonna have to use the silk touch pick a lot to get all that ice. The ice farm, unfortunately, it's one of those farms that you can't really automate because the only thing that works is silk touch, so it has to be semi-automatic at one point. And also I realized after sitting here for about 2 minutes that my next project should definitely be a farm that gives me a lot of XP. And that might actually be the gold farm. I feel like I would need a lot of gold to make a bartering farm, and also if I make it manual, it's gonna give me a lot of XP. So rather than doing one of those potion farms, even though I think they should be really good, I kind of want to make more of the old school farms that actually give me some resources as well, rather than just making one of those XP farms. It took a while, but finally all my tools are fully repaired, so let's go check on that ice farm if it actually created anything. And just looking from a distance, it does look like it did. I don't know how much, probably not much to be completely honest, but it does prove that the ender pearls are working. I don't know if player proximity makes ice form a bit faster or something like that, which could be the case, but regardless of that, the ice is working. So if I always have an ender pearl over here while I'm in the world doing something else, then this ice should form all the time. And in the meantime, I can use this one over here as well, because this is going to be working while I'm more or less in the area. I do want to change this for slabs first, because I feel like if this wouldn't freeze and it would be water sources, it would help with freezing a bit faster. So let's do that first. You just saw that trigger there. So we have a second layer, which is really nice to see. So I'm gonna put a couple of slabs over here. We're gonna do a full harvest, see how much packed ice I can get out of this, and then hopefully finish up the tunnel in the nether. And when I say finish the tunnel, I don't mean fully finish it, I just mean putting down the ice, because I definitely need to gather a few more materials and actually come up with a design for the tunnel itself. So I added all the slabs here and I realized that using stone is not the best idea, because my pick actually almost insta breaks this. So I'm gonna have to replace every single slab with a wooden slab instead, and I think that's gonna make it a bit easier. And here we go, all wood slabs are in. Now I can start to do a full harvest and see how much packed ice I actually managed to get, because I feel like I would need at least a shulker box to be able to finish that whole line. So we'll see how far this is gonna get us. Alright, so I cleared pretty much half of the farm and I managed to get 2 stacks and 16 of packed ice. So I'm definitely going to have to do a lot of ice farming to actually complete that tunnel, and I might have to expand these ones a bit sooner rather than later at this point, because looking at things, actually making all the tunnels that I will need in the nether, I'll definitely need a really powerful ice farm. I managed to get 8 stacks and a half of packed ice. I'm going to be crafting a good few torches. I'm actually going to get the sticks and the coal with me. I don't know how many torches I'm going to need, but I'm going to try to see how far these 8 stacks are going to get me. And the reason that I want the torches is that right now I have bottom slabs in the nether in the tunnel, and once I place the packed ice, mobs would be able to spawn, but by using torches, they won't be. And this is another reason why I want to put packed ice, because if I use just normal ice, it would just melt under the light of the torch. So let's go in and see how far we can get. So if you didn't see, this is my tunnel currently. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have the ice here. I'm going to leave these 2 blocks stone, and I'm just gonna break this and then place some packed ice. I think this is actually going to mess up this slightly because the tunnel is up here. So I will probably have to use a boat right away in order for this to work. unless I manage to do something and start a bit lower down, which honestly I might actually try. Did I not pick up those blocks? Did they just fell down? I think they did. I think I'm just gonna waste a piece of ice. Oh well, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. I'm probably not gonna have enough anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. So I'm gonna break these like that, and then it's a bit difficult and a bit scary to do this because ice is very slippery and it's gonna be really easy to just fall off. So hopefully nothing is gonna happen. But I'm gonna see how far these 8 stacks are going to get me, and then I'll bring you guys back. I actually can't believe it, but I made it all the way to the end, to the other portal, and I still have 2 stacks and 6. Which is actually really surprising. I don't know why, but I really thought that the tunnel is much longer than that. I'm happy it isn't, and I managed to finish it. However, looking at it is definitely not safe to boat, especially when I get around that corner. So I'm probably gonna have to work on a tunnel design and start building it. I don't know if I want to do it out of stone. Maybe this first one is going to be stone because that's the thing that I have the most of. I might consider doing something else maybe, I don't know yet. I'll probably think about that in between episodes, to be completely honest, and I'll see where that goes. So for the time being, I'm gonna go back to the ice farm and see how much it actually produced while we built this. Oh, and the bonus for this is actually the fact that I had to drop this a bit lower, so I can either jump, which is really fast on ice, or it's actually tall enough for me to just fly through it, which is actually pretty good, except I hit that part. And I'm back at the ice farm, and it does look like it generated a good bit of ice. It's definitely not a lot. I was hoping to be a bit more, I'm not gonna lie. But it didn't take me that long. I think maybe it was like 20 minutes to completely put that ice down. And I can tell you straight away that the next tunnel that I'm going to build, I'm definitely building it straight with the ice, because it takes so much longer to break the blocks that I placed and then replace them with ice. Doing it just with ice the first time probably would have saved me a lot of time. But regardless, I do have the farm now, which is really nice to see. We're at the 2nd level now, which is really good. So it's just a matter of doing a few more things around the world. The ice is gonna generate, and hopefully by the time I need more to make the next tunnel in the nether, I should have plenty. So yeah, with the ice farm fully complete now and the tunnel pretty much drawn all the way to the end, I just need to come up with a design for it. I think it's pretty much time to end this episode. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate all your support. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to leave a like and share your thoughts below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Until next time, happy crafting!